So with Charles Oliveira's recent win against Beneil Dariush at UFC 289, it puts him next in line for the next title shot against Islam Makhachev in Abu Dhabi in October. And if he manages to finally redeem that loss and get rid of Islam, he will not only be the lightweight champion of the world, but he will also be the lightweight GOAT. He will cement his legacy as the best lightweight to ever do it. And if he actually does manage to do it and beat Islam by finish, that win will be better than any other wins that Khabib has ever done in his career. Let's be honest about this. Oliveira has beaten Gaethje, just like Khabib. Oliveira has beaten Poirier, just like Khabib. They have two of the same wins. Oliveira kind of has two title defenses, if we can be honest about it. And yeah, maybe, you know, you can kind of get semantical about it and say that, oh yeah, Khabib has three title defenses. Oliveira really only has one. Technically two. Let's be honest, he has two. That Gaethje fight was a defense of his belt. He has two defenses, not one. But if Oliveira manages to beat Islam, that win will be better than any other win that Khabib has ever had in his career, and I think by far. Because again, Islam is not a joke. He's not a slouch or a walkover. He's beaten him before, and we know this. And that win that Islam has over Oliveira is way better than any win that Khabib has just by itself. That win that Islam has over Volk is way better of a win than Khabib has ever. These two guys will be contending for the lightweight GOAT status, not only just the belt, when they do meet in Abu Dhabi in October. Now, I'm going to put that aside for now, but listen real quick, because I need to explain why Oliveira will be fighting Islam, because people don't understand that just yet, how that's going to work out, because people are like, what? Poirier and Gaethje are fighting in July? What if they get the title shot? Abu Dhabi is in October. We know that fight between Poirier and Gaethje is going to be an absolute war. So I don't see either of them making a quick turnaround to be able to fight Islam in October. It's just not going to be possible unless one of them gets a freaky fast finish. Then maybe you can convince me that they will supersede Oliveira to get that next shot. But I just don't see it being possible. With how both of them fight, it just seems almost ludicrous to think that either of them will get a title shot. The best odds what's going to happen is that Poirier and Gaethje are going to fight Conor McGregor or Michael Chandler, depending on who wins that fight. Probably McGregor. That would be the fight to make. The UFC needs McGregor to win. We don't know. That fight in itself is a whole different topic, McGregor versus Chandler. So I'm not going to dive too deep into that one. But the only other option besides the winner of Poirier Gaethje would be Volk if he does beat Yair. And I don't see Volk turning around that quick too, because also it's in July. 3 months turnaround for Volk. He can do it. He has done it before, but I don't see him being well prepared enough to take that bout versus Islam. I see him probably getting the next shot over that. And if Oliveira beats Islam and then fights Volk and beats Volk, you can't debate anything. You can't tell me a single damn thing that Oliveira is not the lightweight GOAT. If that happens, but that's just in the future. That's me praying. That's me having my own, my own dream fairy tale land. But right now, he has to stick to what's in the present right now, and the present is Oliveira versus Islam, because it's going to happen. And it really comes down to, do I think Oliveira can redeem himself, and can he beat Islam? It sounds almost far-fetched to even say it. I think if I was really to break it down, I probably would pick Islam again, but Oliveira could have gotten better. People are saying this, oh, English-speaking Charles is a new mythical fighter. No, he's been speaking English. I'm pretty sure he said some English and some other post-fight presser before he even fought Islam. So English-speaking Oliveira is not a new mythical fighter, but back tattoo Oliveira might be. I don't think he had a back tattoo for the Islam fight, but this new back tattoo, well, it's definitely a new mythical fighter. And he, honestly, he could be honest. He might not have been lying. There was several interviews where he said, I think he said in the press conference, the 289 press conference, that he didn't feel himself, that fight between him and Islam was not him, that he was not feeling himself, that was not his night. God did not make that night for him. So I mean, he could be honest about that. Maybe that was the worst Oliveira we've ever seen ever. He came in that fight with too much weight on his shoulders. He was too busy drinking beers in Brazil like Renato Moicano. I don't know what was going on with him, but maybe that was the worst Oliveira we've ever seen. And maybe this fight against Islam would prove that that was the worst Oliveira. I don't know, man. I think, again, like, even though he did beat his worst stylistic matchup against Beneil Dariush, let's be honest here, Beneil Dariush had pretty much all the tools to beat Oliveira in that matchup. Just Oliveira, he just hits different, and you can't play with Oliveira. So maybe Oliveira. My cat is taking a piss mid-video. Thank you. I appreciate you being rude. No, we can't do that. Listen, hey, we can't do that. Thank you. Leave. But back to what I was saying. Islam is the worst stylistic matchup for Oliveira. A guy who can go to the ground with him and won't be afraid of his jiu-jitsu because, again, he submitted him. So I don't think Islam will fear Oliveira's ground game because Beneil Dariush couldn't handle, even though he was in full guard for the majority of the time, he was always getting hit with hammer fists, getting his legs all twisted up. You know, Oliveira was doing great work against Beneil Dariush on the ground. I don't see Islam being in that same situation. I think Islam will be more strong and be able to deal better with the ground game of Oliveira. And we saw that in the first fight. He did deal better than Beneil Dariush on the ground. And that's where Oliveira can kind of, I don't know, he might have to adjust some things in his game and really try to figure out that fight, but he doesn't watch the fight. So I don't know how much I trust Oliveira to make improvements on that fight on the ground, maybe, or maybe in the stand-up, because he did get dropped in that as well. So I don't know how much Oliveira is going to improve if he refuses to go back and watch the film. I just don't know how I can predict that. But if Oliveira does make his adjustments, he does go back to the lab and figure out what went wrong in the Makhachev fight, he does have a true chance to get it done. But he has to be humble, he has to be honorable, he has to look at that fight and make sure he fixes the issues that came up. And also, I think Islam, at that point, I think Islam is probably a better striker than Beneil Dariush, at least on par. I mean, I take back my tier list, my striking tier list, lightweight tier list. Fuck that. Islam Makhachev is definitely one of the top tier strikers. Maybe not A tier, but he's definitely one of the top tier strikers at lightweight. So I don't think that Islam will even pose more problems for Oliveira on the feet again. So all in all, do I believe that Oliveira can get it done against Islam? I don't know. It could be the worst version of him that we ever seen again. It could be the best version. If the best Oliveira shows up, then he might beat Islam. It's all kind of up in the air. I think right now I would pick Islam. If you ask me, who you're gonna bet $1 million right now, Oliveira, Islam, I would pick Oliveira. I would pick Islam, but no, I think the more logical pick in this scenario would be Islam Makhachev. But yeah, I am worried. But to put a bow on all of this, the winner of this fight between Islam and Oliveira will cement themselves as the lightweight GOAT. I didn't really go too deep into that. I don't know. But again, both of them will have better wins than Khabib has ever had in their career. So I do see this being a unanimous thing of calling one of these guys the lightweight GOAT. If you don't agree and still believe Khabib is, I don't know, bro. I think Islam overall is a better fighter than Khabib. I think he has better striking, a similar ground game. Like, I think that Islam is the complete package where Khabib lacked a little bit on the striking department, where Islam fulfills that. And these two guys' resumes are way better than Khabib's ever was. Khabib's like first 16 fights were against cans. And then he beat what? Edson Barboza, McGregor, Poirier, Gaethje. Well, so has Oliveira. He's beaten Poirier, Gaethje. He also beat a Chandler. He also beat Beneil Dariush, who's come off, what, an 8-fight, 9-fight win streak? Like, these guys are not fighting cans. Islam isn't fighting an Ally Quinta off 1 day's notice for the title. These guys, I think, are just... The competition has been so much better for the lightweights. And let's be kind of real here, bro. Khabib somewhat ducked the best competition. He always couldn't make weight. The Tony Ferguson fight always fell out. Imagine prime Tony versus Khabib. Like, that's the one fight that we all kind of wanted in our lifetime and never got to see. And shit just went bad. And the majority of it was on Khabib's end. But, we can't live in the past. We can't focus on what could have been. It's what it is now. And the winner of Oliveira versus Islam will be the lightweight GOAT and the lightweight champion. I believe it in my heart. You should believe it too. But that's all I have for you today. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Please subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it if you do. I also do stream the cards on Saturdays. So if you do want to watch me watch Marvin Vettori versus Jared Cannonier and come in the chat and talk to me and have a good time, I will be doing that this Saturday, the entire card. So come join me. But again, that's all I have for you guys today. Peace.